So I got some questions about the max flow regulator. So we're going to do a little disassembly. I just serviced this. So I'm not going to replace all the O-rings, but I'm going to tell you what sizes they are and how to get to them. I'm going to start by taking these 4 bolts off. So you can separate the ASA portion from the regulator portion. There is a stem with an O-ring. That acts as a transfer tube between these two. So when you remove it, you just need to pull it straight down. Say 5/32 Allen key. Brackets off. And that just comes straight down. Like I said, fresh O-ring on that guy, just replaced it. So there's 2 parts to this. You have the piston portion and the poppet portion. So let's do the piston portion first. Your adjuster cap should have a screw in it. That goes right there. Mine is missing. I don't need to deal with that. In this lower section, you have a bunch of filters and shims and stuff. Just need to make sure it's clean. And the one word of advice is to, if you see this pin, if you ever drop it and it all spills out, it's got a flat side and a shaped side. The shaped side goes up towards your piston. Get some pliers, pull this guy out. There's 2 O-rings here that you'll want to change. This is the reg seat, or the poppet seat, where the tip of the poppet sits, that little silver piece in there, connects with that O-ring there. That is a number 390. Just dig it out and push a new one in there. You want to make sure that this stays dry with no lube on it, as little as possible. I'm touching everything again, so we're just going to go ahead and lube it up again. This outer O-ring here is a 14, a 014. Now this is the low pressure piston. There's a high pressure piston. It's smaller in diameter. It's the same poppet seat, but it's got a number 12 on the piston body. So that's done. That after you clean that, you can just slide back in and your cap goes right back on. Just kind of snug it up until you feel some resistance. Then we're gonna disassemble the poppet portion of this, the 3/8 Allen, to remove the retaining nut. And we have our top hat, our filter, our poppet. There's one more, there it is. That's the poppet base right here. And then there's one more O-ring down in there. That is a 1070. Right there. Put a little lube on there so it kind of sticks in place. There's a little O-ring gland, a little groove in there. So you can kind of drop that one in, tap it in place, and that stays. The next portion of this, the base here, you can get your fingernail, kind of pry that open, work it around. And that O-ring is a number 9. And this is the filter. And then you have the upper kind of top hat portion. In here, the inner O-ring is a 9, and the outer is a 13. So just pick those off, replace them. And then you reassemble. So you want to lubricate this piston. Don't forget to put the spring on. That's together. This can be dropped in, making sure it is in the correct orientation. The poppet stem has to go through that hole. So it sits in there nicely. There we go. These are nice and lubed up still, so that just goes right on top. Yep. And our retaining nut. Last but not least, we've got a number 10 for the connection, pressure relief valve gauge. So if you're looking at it this way, this is the correct input. Your tank pressure is going to go in here. You got output pressure here and here, and your relief port. So this can be reattached again. Snug our bracket back up. Because you have that O-ring on the pseudo transfer tube, you want to make sure these are tightened equally. You're kind of going around as you would a tire. Never tighten with the ball end. Tighten with the appropriate end. And that's it. Let's hook up our line again. She's ready to go. So, say you wanted to replace this. Absolutely you could. Depending on the gun, you're going to have different options. But what you need to do is you need to find a vertical adapter. And that vertical adapter is going to allow you to put on a different regulator that will go right here. So let me grab the other impulse I've got here. It's a good example. It does not have an up-to-date ASA on it, but it's got the vertical max flow, which will give you the idea. So, impulse, vertical adapter, pressure relief. This one's got a gauge on it. The gauge is blown. So you got your vertical adapter, and then you could run that line to any sort of ASA that you wanted to put on there. CP, pops, Exception Designs, easy ASA, lots of options. You could also do that with the shockers. The original SFT shockers came, they had max flow on them, gas through grip. This gas through grip just screws off. Luckily it's got some wrench flats here, and you'd remove your max flow and your rail, and replace it with something else, a direct mount or rail that attaches to the ASA. Line that over to your reg, your vertical adapter, and then into your gun. So that's max flows in a nutshell. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Pretty good at answering them. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks a lot, guys.